Hey, it's Jag, and the logo color is different. After my last video, where I chose all of the materials for the build from my great guitar build-off entry, I said that I was in the kit category because I was not really too confident in my skills to build a neck. Well, a few people chimed in and said, really, you gotta go for it. I watched a few videos and I kind of think, yeah, I probably can do that. I'm still hedging my bets. I've got that kit neck up there. So if I mess up on the build of the neck, I can always switch back to the kit neck. But yeah, now I'm in the scratch build category. In today's video, I'm going to joint the two body blanks that I have. If you recall in the last video, I said that I don't have a jointer, but I can do jointing on my table saw with a fine finish blade or on my my router table. So I had said I was going to try jointing one each, one on the table saw and one on the router table. So that's what we're doing today. The first thing that I need to do is plane down the blanks a bit. I'm putting a maple top on these, so I've got about a 1/4 inch or 3/16 inch book matched pieces of flame maple, and the blanks right now are just a little under 1 3/4 inches thick. I want the final guitar to be about 1 3/4 inches thick. So I'm going to plane down the blanks to about 1.5 inches, and I don't think I'm going to need to plane the tops at all. So my finished guitar will be just a little bit under 1 3/4 inches. I think that's a good size, and that's a good feel to me. I'll take a couple seconds for you and about 10 minutes for me, and I'll get my equipment moved around and I'll get ready for planing. Right now the blanks are between 1 5/8 and 1 11/16. I'm going to take those down to about 1 9/16 inch thick, or a little bit over 1.5 inches. The tops are between 7/32 and 3/8 inch thick. So at the end of the day, I'm shooting for the blanks to be about 1 9/16 thick, so that the final guitar, once it's glued up and sanded and ready to go, are about 1 3/4 inches, maybe a hair more or a hair less. One of the blanks right now is about 3/32 inch thicker than the other, so I'm going to start with that one, get it down to about the same thickness as the other one, and then I'll take them down to 1 9/16 inches. Okay, well that's the planing done. It turned out quite well, just a hair under 1.5 inches thick now. I probably will end up being a little under 1 3/4 inches thick. I know one of the tops is not quite a 1/4 inch thick. They were already planed, and they should be good for glue up. So I think we're good. Like I said in the intro video to my great guitar build-off entry, I don't have a jointer. But I do have a table saw with a fine finish blade, and I also have my router table and a 2-inch cutter that I can use for jointing. One blank I'm going to joint on the table saw, and one I'm going to joint on the router. So this is the table saw portion of that. A couple of things you want to make sure about when you're jointing on your table saw. The finer the cut that you can do, the better your joint's going to be. So that's why I'm using a fine finish blade on this. The other thing is, make sure your blade is as close to 90 degrees as you can get it. I use a machinist square to make sure my blade is square, and it is. But even doing that, there's a trick that I kind of adapted. I'm sure somebody else has done this before, but I adapted this from the trick that people use when they're joining two boards with a plane to make them meet up exactly. And that is to put both boards together, one with the face on one side and one with the face on the other. So in other words, if you have your boards like this and you're going to plane the center edge, you put this board up like this, you put this board up like this. The idea being that if you have it planed at slightly an angle, those angles will meet tightly once you turn the ends down. This angle will come down like this angle will come down like this, and they'll meet better. This is the, of course, the two edges that I'm going to joint here. So I'm going to take the right piece, I'll leave it face up when I put it through the saw, and the face that's going to go on the left, I will flip over so it's face down going through the saw, and hopefully that will give me a tighter joint. Of course, me being me, it's just remembering to turn it the right way when I cut it. So all that said, let's get to joining this blank. Okay, that's looking pretty good. If you saw, I skimmed off both sides a little bit aggressively just to get them straight. They were a little crooked. And then I just took about a 32nd of an inch off just to make sure we got all of the dips and everything, and I had a straight edge. And then I just took off about a 64th, just at that last little bit. I just shaved just a touch off, just in case the blade flex or anything. I doubt it when you're putting it through. I figured just skimming a little bit off is not going to make the blade want to push out or anything. I don't know if that's the way to do that or not, but I think it's good. I'm going to get one of my clamps and we'll just do a mock clamp up. Okay, I don't know how well you can see this, but there's that blank pushed together. Thickness is really good. You can just barely feel that there's a seam there when you put your hands over, so that will sand out nice. So get that clamp. Yeah, that's looking really good. I'm comfortable with that seam. So on to joining on the router table. Ready to go with the jointing on the router table. I have my Freud router table all set up here. Again, same as last time, I'm going to take the two pieces of the body blank, and I'm going to turn one up like this so that they both go through, and if the blade or if the bit is a little bit out of perpendicular, when I flip this side back, they should still match up pretty closely. I'm just taking off just the slightest bit. I'll go through several passes, but I'm not going to take a ton off at a time. So that's the router table jointing, and it looks really good too. I do see a little bit of a gap in the middle here. I think just the way that the boards went through, they're just a hair high, just on the last half inch or so, maybe on both ends, maybe at one end. So I'll check that out, do a little sanding, but I think either body blank is going to work just great for this build, and it's going to glue up nice. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for sticking with me. I was actually hoping to have these glued up today, but I'm a little low on time. I got started a little late today, so these won't be glued up until the next episode. I'll start the next one with that, and then as those are curing, I will start the tops. I have a little bit of an issue with the tops. The four boards for the tops are cupped a little bit, not quite a millimeter. If you put them flat, there's not quite a millimeter in the middle. I can push it out, so it's no problem. I could clamp that, and once it's glue and clamp that, and once it's cured, I don't think there'd be any problem. I do need to joint the edge of those top pieces, and I don't want to do it while there's a cup, because when I clamp it flat, the ends will skew a little bit in or out, so then I would end up with a gap. So I have an idea what to do with that. Actually, I have several ideas. I don't think I will do that jointing on the table saw or the router table. A few years ago, we were at a little town just outside our city, and there was a flea market, and we were kind of wandering through there, looking at everything, and I came across some planes. So I bought them, actually $30 for all three of these. Here's two. I've got just a little jack plane. Needs a little bit of sharpening and care and attention. These all do. Here is I think this is a number 4. I don't know my planes that well, and I can't find a number on it. Anyway, I have a little a smoothing plane, or maybe that's a jack plane. And this one, which I've taken apart because the tote was broken, I re-glued the tote and sanded it, and I've oiled it. So that's looking good, and I'm going to put this back together. This says 02 under where the tote goes, so I haven't looked into it. It's about maybe 14 inches long. Again, these need a little care and attention. There's some rust on the bottom, so I'm going to try and take care of these, get these in working order, and maybe this one will work well enough to joint those tops. We'll see. Like always, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave comments. I do read and answer comments, so if you have any words of advice or suggestions for things I could do to make this a little better, I'd really appreciate that, and I will answer back. If you're interested in my band One Soul Thrust, the links are in the description below. And also check out some of the other videos on my channel. My channel is about building tube amplifiers, but I've stepped out to do this build. Concurrently with this great guitar build, I am doing what I'm calling the 2+1 amp build. I'm building 2 Jagsters, amp of my design, and a pedal platform amp, 40 watts pedal platform amp, and that one is being built and designed on the fly. So it could be interesting. These videos for the GGBO and the 2+1 build, like I say, will be running concurrently over the 6 months of the GGBO build. So I may finish one or the other sooner, but the plan is to intersperse these videos over the next months, and so you'll see a little bit of both: amp building, guitar building, a lot of me swearing probably, at least on the guitar build. So again, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Well, Well, I had a few minutes before I finished editing the video, and I really want to see how this joining worked. So I had enough time just to get out here and glue up one set of these blanks. I'm going to glue up the ones that I did on the table saw. To me, that actually looks like a somewhat better joint than what I did on the router table. I think the router table did a straighter cut overall. But the table saw cut just seems to fit together a little better. So I may actually, depending how this turns out, take the blank that I did on the router and then just take just a tiny hair off the edges. I'll show you what I mean later if I decide to do that. At any rate, I'm just going to do a quick glue up on this blank number 2. Well, that's worked out way better than I thought it would. This joint is awesome. Let me see if I can show you with this camera here. There we go. It's all glued up. And you can just barely feel a step in a couple of spots. I can feel a step right here. But it's dead smooth all the way up the rest of the way. So this has turned out really well. So there you go. That's glue up number 1 of actually body blank number 2, and this is looking fantastic. I'll let it cure overnight. Come out in the morning, take it out of the clamps, have a look, and see how it turned out. And I will get to the other one as soon as I can. I'll let you know if I decide to take that over the table saw or if I decide to go with what came off the router. So thanks for watching again.